What is the spiritual meaning of alligator dreams? Let's talk about Toni Morrison. She was born into a world that wanted her gone.
Just picture it. Lorain, Ohio. The air is thick with steel mill smoke. This is mid-century America. She was a black woman, carrying stories so heavy, so ancient. Just dragging them into the light was a profound act of defiance.
And make no mistake, this world was actively hostile. It wasn't passive. It was a predator, always trying to consume her, to silence the truth she carried deep in her bones. Just to exist, she had to become a fortress. Now you have to understand, Morrison wasn't some casual observer. She didn't just write about the murky waters of trauma and survival, she lived there. Her novel, Beloved, is about a woman haunted by a ghost born from an unspeakable act. Morrison tore that wound open with her bare hands for the whole world to see. And this, right here, this is the absolute core of it all. The alligator. It was always there in her work, even if she never used the word. Ancient, armored, a patient predator waiting just below the surface of every single sentence. Morrison is gone, but she didn't leave us empty-handed. She left a map. And that map is the very thing your own subconscious is handing you every time the alligator surfaces in your dreams. So let's get personal. This isn't some abstract idea. These are survival questions for you, right now.
Think, back in your dream, right when the alligator appeared, what were you avoiding in your real life? What project, what conversation, what truth have you been pushing away, hoping it would just disappear?
And your fear? Every time you choose not to speak, every time you choose not to act, you are feeding something. What fear has been growing stronger in the dark because of your silence?
And finally, this is the most important one. What ancient wound inside of you has been ignored for so long that it's not a scar anymore. It's become something alive, something with teeth.
So why this specific symbol? Out of everything your mind could conjure, why an alligator? And why is it showing up right now?
Because your unconscious mind is done being polite. It doesn't whisper when you're ignoring it. It builds pressure. And when that pressure gets high enough, it stops knocking on the door. It sends a predator.
You know, this creature isn't random. The alligator has been on this planet for over 37 million years. It survived the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. In the language of your own psyche, that means it represents something ancient, something that cannot be killed just by pretending it isn't there.
The psychologist Carl Jung had a name for this. He called it the shadow. It's the reservoir of everything you've pushed down, everything you've suppressed, everything you have refused to look at. The alligator is your shadow, given a physical, undeniable form. But it's not just a monster. In the mythology of the hero's journey, this thing is called the threshold guardian, and its purpose isn't to destroy you. Its purpose is to test you. It's asking one simple question: are you serious about this? Are you really ready to cross over into your own power?
And here's the brutal truth. Most women who face this test don't fail because the alligator's too strong. They fail because they wake up, shake it off, and go make coffee. They refuse to even look at it, and so the alligator waits. And it grows. So, let's be perfectly clear. This dream is not a nightmare you need to escape from. It is a summons you are being called to answer.
The alligator embodies two incredibly powerful archetypes. First, it is your shadow, all your unprocessed raw material. And second, it is the terrible mother, that raw force of nature that devours and reclaims anything that refuses to grow.
And that brings us right back to Toni Morrison. She answered her summons. She walked straight into the swamp of American history, of personal trauma, and she dragged what lived in those dark waters into language. By facing it, she made damn sure she was never fully consumed by it.
So if it's a threshold guardian, that means it's always guarding something. The question is, what is the alligator in your dream guarding?
It's guarding a treasure. And that treasure is almost always one of three things: your own unleashed power, a truth that you have buried so deep inside yourself you've forgotten it's there, or a transformation that you are absolutely terrifying yourself out of making.
Look, the stakes are this simple. The choice is binary. You either face what the alligator represents, or you spend the rest of your life carefully and exhaustingly building your entire existence around making sure you never have to.
And we need to be very clear about what that second choice really is.
That is not living. That is just a slower, more drawn-out way of drowning.
Toni Morrison answered her summons. The only question left is, will you answer yours?
Part 2. Let's talk about the dreams you brush off. You know the ones. You wake up, heart pounding, and you tell yourself, it was just a dream. No, it's a signal. Your subconscious is sending up a flare. It's time to pay attention.
The chase dream. Okay, but this isn't just generic anxiety. An alligator on your heels? That's you fleeing something ancient, something primal. It's a confrontation, a hard decision, a truth you have put off for so long that it has finally grown teeth.
So you have to stop running. I mean it, right now. Name the one thing you are actively, deliberately avoiding. Get out a piece of paper and write it down. You don't have to slay the dragon today, but you have to turn and face it. Schedule one real, concrete action in the next 72 hours. This is non-negotiable.
Okay, but what if you can't see it? What if it's just lurking? In dreams, water is your unconscious. And murky water? That means you're keeping yourself in the dark on purpose. That alligator under the surface is the problem you feel but won't name. It's that gut feeling you keep silencing with so-called logic.
Your job here is to get clear, brutally clear. Acknowledge what you're refusing to look at. Start journaling. Have one radically honest conversation, even if it's just with your own reflection. You have to clear the water, because that alligator, it only has power in the murk. It's time to turn on a light.
And do not be fooled by its size. A baby alligator in your dream is not cute. It is a threat in its infancy. It's a shadow that hasn't grown big enough to eat you yet. Honestly, this dream is a profound gift. You're being shown the monster while it's still a baby.
So, look at your life, right now. Find the new pattern that feels suspiciously like an old, destructive one. You know, the new job with the same toxic boss, the new relationship with those same old red flags. This is your shot. Act now. Act while it's small enough to handle.
So what happens if you don't? What happens when you just keep hitting the snooze button on the alarm your soul is screaming?
Simple. The warning phase ends. The crisis begins. The threat is no longer some distant symbol you can ignore in the morning. It's here. It's real.
If that alligator is actively attacking you in the dream, this is a red alert, a full-blown psychic emergency. The part of you that you've repressed, the anger, the grief, the power, it's done waiting. It's turned on you.
You have to pinpoint what in your waking life feels like an assault. What situation, what person is draining your life force? Name it. Because this is the final warning before your body takes the hit and manifests this crisis as sickness, burnout, or a total breakdown.
And what if the attack is coming from inside the house? Your home in a dream is your psyche, yourself. An alligator in your home means the threat isn't out there. Oh no, it's a belief, a relationship, a habit that you have personally invited into your most sacred space.
Consider this a security briefing for your soul. It's time for an audit. Who is in your inner circle? What are the stories you tell yourself every day? Something you've let in has teeth and it does not belong. You need to name it, remove it, and change the locks on your own mind.
Then there's the absolute nightmare scenario, multiple alligators. This is your psyche just waving a giant red flag that says overwhelm. You are surrounded, you're carrying way too much, and you're doing it all in silence.
But listen to me. The dream is not asking you to fight a war on 10 fronts. It's asking you to triage, like an ER doctor. Identify the single most urgent threat, just one, and move on that one. That's it. One decisive action is all it takes to break the paralysis. The momentum will build from there.
So what happens when you do it? When you finally stop running, plant your feet, and turn to face the thing that's been hunting you in your sleep.
This is the moment of truth. This is the pivot. It's the shift from being the hunted to becoming the hero. You stop being a victim of your own story and you become an active force in your own transformation.
So in the dream, you kill the alligator. Victory, right? Well, yes, but here is the critical part. Killing the shadow doesn't mean destroying it. It means you have to integrate its power. You have to reclaim the energy that it represented and bring it back into yourself. So what's the plan? First, you celebrate your own damn courage. This dream means you have it in you.
Then, immediately you ask, what did that gator represent? Raw power? Confrontation? Survival instinct? Now, you take that energy and you put it to work in your real life.
But what if you don't kill it? What if it swallows you whole? I know, it's terrifying. But this is one of the oldest stories we have, the belly of the beast. Let me be absolutely clear. You are not dying. You are being remade.
Something in your life, some old version of you is ending so that something new can be born. Stop fighting it. Identify the chapter that is closing for good and give it a proper funeral, a conscious goodbye. You have to let it die so you can be reborn.
And this brings us to the final, most profound twist. What if the alligator was never your enemy to begin with? What if all this time, it was a messenger, an ally in disguise?
If the alligator is simply watching you, no menace, no threat, just presence, you are in a period of spiritual initiation. You are becoming aware of your own hidden power, and it's acknowledging you back. Your only action here is stillness. Observe. Don't rush it.
And finally, the rarest and most powerful dream of all, the one where the alligator transforms into something else, or speaks. This is no longer a metaphor. This is direct communication from the deepest core of your being. This is a breakthrough.
You have to treat this as the major turning point it is. Write down every word, every image, every feeling. Meditate on it. The real question isn't just what the alligator means. The question is this: your subconscious is speaking directly to you. Are you listening?
Part 3. All right, this is about what you do when you wake up. Because let's be real, dreams don't save you, action does. The insight, that's not the point. It never ever was. Okay, so you had the dream, you got the interpretation, now what? This is where almost everyone stops. They just collect that little piece of insight like a souvenir and stick it on a shelf. Don't you dare do that. That alligator showed up for a reason, and we're about to talk about what you do with that reason in your actual, waking, you only get one shot life. All right, it's time to choose your weapon. Let's find your path forward. And listen, every single one of these paths carries the same urgency because your life isn't waiting around for you to feel ready. You have to pick the method that fits who you are right now. So let's find it.
If you're a writer, if that's how you make sense of the world, then you're starting a shadow journal. This is the place for all the truths you've been shoving down. And you're starting it tonight. I'm not kidding. Not tomorrow, tonight.
So first, you're gonna date the entry. Describe that alligator down to the last detail, exactly how you saw it. Then you answer these questions. And I mean answer them with zero editing. No second guessing, just raw truth. The most important part, you have to read your answers out loud. Hearing your own voice speak these things, it transforms that vague, abstract fear into something real, something you can actually work with. This journal becomes your map, so follow it. Okay, for the strategist, the woman who needs a plan, who needs clear action steps, we're building a fear inventory. Think of it as a brutally honest audit of every single threat in your life that you've been ignoring. You know what I'm talking about? That relationship that's draining you dry, the financial stuff you pretend isn't happening, that career move you keep putting off. Column 1, write it all down. Column 2, the single, smallest, first action you can take. Not the whole 5-year plan, just the very next step. And column 3, a deadline, a real one. Now put this piece of paper somewhere you have to look at it every single day. The alligator in your dream, it's basically showing you this exact list. This whole exercise is about making the invisible visible, so you can stop getting blindsided by the things you refuse to name. All right, now for the mover, the woman who feels things in her bones. Listen to me. Your body is a library of everything your mind refuses to check out. It stores it all. So if that alligator is haunting your dreams, chances are it's already living in your body, as that chronic tension in your shoulders, that exhaustion you can't shake, that numbness. So you need to find a practice that gets you in your body. Yoga, dance, a cold plunge, breath work. Whatever it is. But here's the key. You're not just exercising, you're using it as a tool to process. You move with the intention of releasing all that suppressed energy. That's how you face the alligator head on. Commit to it for 3 weeks, just 3 weeks, and watch what happens to your dreams. Trust me, your body already knows the answer. It's just waiting for you to listen. Okay, for the woman who thrives on connection, who needs to talk it out, this is for you. And the most important thing you need to hear is this. You were not designed to carry this burden by yourself. So you need to find your witness. This could be a therapist who specializes in this stuff, like in Jungian analysis. If that's not an option, find a women's circle, a mentor you trust, or even just one good friend who you know will take this seriously. When you speak the dream out loud to another person, you're making that shadow witnessed. And a shadow that's seen, it starts to lose its power over you, its stranglehold. Please, do not let pride or embarrassment push you into a corner. Isolation is exactly where the alligator wants you. It's its favorite hunting ground. And for the priestess, the woman who walks a spiritual path. This calls for something different. You know, in ancient traditions, a dreamless powerful was never just ignored. It was honored. It was met with ceremony. You need to build a ritual response. Look, the exact details of the ritual matter less than your intention. So light a candle, state out loud, to the universe, to whatever you hold sacred, what you believe that alligator is telling you. Then you make an offering. Not a trinket, but an offering of the action you commit to taking. This is how you create a conscious relationship with the deepest parts of yourself. It's how you make this transformation sacred and not just another psychological exercise. Okay, now we need to talk about the most urgent category of all, and I need you to listen very carefully. If you are in an active crisis, if this dream is on repeat while your life is in a state of high stress or actual danger, then the alligator is not a metaphor. It is a siren. It is an alarm bell. So I need you to stop right now and ask yourself this question with brutal, unflinching honesty. Am I safe? Is there a real, tangible threat in my life that I am minimizing, or explaining away, or just tolerating when I absolutely should not be? This could be danger at home, a financial situation about to collapse, a health emergency you're ignoring, a relationship that is literally eating you alive. These are the real-world alligators that your dreams are screaming about. So you get help. You call someone, you make the appointment, you leave. Your dream is not being dramatic, and you are not being dramatic. Take this alarm seriously. You know, Toni Morrison said it best. She went in with her eyes open, and she came back with the truth in her hands. She didn't wait until she wasn't scared. She didn't wait for the water to get calm. She just went in, eyes wide open, and she came back with the truth. That's it. That's the whole instruction manual. That's all the alligator was ever trying to tell you. Go in, come back, and carry the truth. Because your life, it's the story you're writing right now, and you don't get a second draft.